Hey everybody, how we doing? Well, we're getting closer, really close. Girls are here. They've been spending time out in the pasture. Still, there's not much though, to be honest with you. We haven't had rain in a month, so whatever grass they're getting out there is minimum, but they're getting plenty of hay. We talked about flushing them the last time around. We've been doing that. And now I said we got to talk about something else that goes with it, along with putting the rams in. Let's go down and see the guys, and I'll show you what I'm talking about doing down there. Now, this video isn't quite going to be what I thought it was going to be. I've had some changes have occurred in the last 2 weeks that we're going to discuss and go over, because I think that would be informative for you. But I did want to talk about something that I said to get ready for breeding. For that time of year, if you notice, the ram pen, there's an extra gate over there, and the ewe pen, sorry about the sun, there's an extra one here. And it's not so much the rams, but I had a ewe who wanted to climb the fence. She wanted into the ram so bad, so I put in extra gates to keep them farther apart. But that's also what I wanted to get into, is the other part of what we need to do when you're breeding and you have multiple rams, all right? In a sense, I have one pin here, and I have the one pin here, and they meet at a corner. So they're not quite nose to nose, but they're close enough. So what I usually do is put a gate like this at a 45, or in a situation like I did here. That keeps those rams from getting nose to nose, because they're going to fight through the fence if you let them. Now, the other thing I've done in the past, and I've taken in the last few weeks, and I fixed that fence. It was pretty bad. What I will do is I will take extra corral panels, so some of those I have over there, and you don't have to be that far apart. I'll come over here maybe 6 foot away, and I'll put another complete fence 6 foot away from that one. And that gives me a buffer zone between the two, and that's all you need. You just need enough space. They can't get nose to nose through the fence, so they don't fight. So that was the other part of what I really wanted to cover here, was if you're doing this, if you're starting out, this is your first year to breed, and if you have multiple rams, don't let them fence to fence. You know, you see some of the people down south in Texas, and a lot of them have the fabric that covers the fence where they can't see each other on the other side. And I've done that when I split the main pen in half. And I put a buffer, but in where they were going to be undercover, I had to let them get close. I used plywood. That worked under there, but I'm in Nebraska. I can't put a total covering on the fence out here. One, the wind is terrible. Two, if it snows, we're going to drip the snow all the way up the top of the fence. That doesn't work for me. Let's go over and see where the guys are. You guys inside here today? There they are. Get the gate open. There's my guys. How we doing, Taz? And everyone's Stony, and yes, you see two. That's the other thing we're going to talk about. I got Lomax up in the catch pen, and hang on just a second while I close this up, and now we're going to discuss that. All right, and you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to hang you up. It's a whole lot easier if I can just talk and the camera's hung up and I don't have to hang on to it the whole time. Makes it a lot nicer. All right, Lomax is in the catch pen, and I've been working with him for over 2 weeks now, and it's a parasite issue, all right? Let's cover the first thing. Hey, everybody told me painted desert sheep are parasite resistant. Well, yeah, they are. To a point they are. But I'm not saying the entire breed is. Every animal reacts differently to parasites. I'll be honest with you, if I took and you checked, I'll bet I could take every ewe out there, do a fecal sample on every ewe I got, and I'll bet they'd come back with worms in every one of them. I bet every one of them would have it. Even if I wormed them, they're going to have it. It's how big of a viral load do they have. And as far as resistant, painted desert tend to be a little more resistant to the parasites, where they can handle a smaller viral load. Sometimes they get away from them, they get more, then they can't. Some sheep are better at it than others. That's why you hear a lot of people talk about, oh, if they got some with worms, they just get rid of them. They just get rid of the ones they got with worms, they don't want them. And I can see that. Sometimes I'm saying, hey, I got really good genetics. I look at Brownie, that was Rocky's daughter. Brownie is probably the biggest ewe on the place, the heaviest, the biggest body size, everything's great, produces great lambs. And guess what? At about 14 weeks, she had barber pole. My son-in-law got her. He got them, but he had them before I had them. When he got them, bought them as a weanling at 12. At 14, she had barber pole. And I mean, it was bad. She had enough of a fever, she lost hair on her face. It was that bad. Never ever had it since. And to be honest with you, back then, I don't know if we really knew how well to treat barber pole as we do today. But she got over it once, and I've never had anything. So they are resistant to a point, but each one is different, and each one can handle viral loads differently. And they may have it once, and they'll never have it again the rest of their life. So let's get on Lomax. Now I'm going to tell you everything I did, and then I'm going to remind you again and again and again, I'm no expert. This is what I do. I'm not telling you this is what you should do. All right? So, came in one day, and Lomax has got the notorious dirty butt. So he's got a loose stool. Parasites? Possible. Coxy? Possible. Did he just eat something? Did he have too much grain? And he bullies the other two around when it comes to grain. Did he get too much grain? Did he eat something he shouldn't? That could be all it is. That could be all you're going to have. But don't take any chances. So brought all the rams in. Got my daughter down to give me a hand. We gave him Sidectin and Prohibit right off the bat for worms. We had Coxy medication on hand. I treated him for Coxy right away. And then I got from her, she had some probiotics. And I put a probiotic, sprinkle that over the feed to kind of help in case it's just an upset stomach. Because at this point in time, I don't know what it is. Could I do a fecal and do it right away? And yes, and I'm going to tell you, my vet charges $12 for a fecal sample. It doesn't cost much to do it. My problem is, take it to him and get back is anywhere between an hour and a half round trip driving. So for me, right off the bat, just give him everything. Just give him all, let's see what happens. He would fluctuate, he'd get a little better, he'd solid up a little, and then he wouldn't, he'd solid up, and it never really got as solid as I like. At 10 days later, we got to give the second Coxy treatment, gave the second Coxy treatment, gave the second worming treatment, and that's set up that. Then I kept an eye. About 2 days later, I thought his appetite was going a little. Came in to eat the grain right away, but usually grain from there he goes over to the hay. Now he came over and he wasn't necessarily going over the hay. I thought, okay, we got to do something. So at that point in time, brought him in, put him out, but I can't put him back now. If I put him back and he's weak because hasn't been eating as good, I got to beat him up. So once I take him out, I can't put him back. He's got to stay. So put him up. So now we went with, because it's still the loose stool, we went something called SpectraGuard. And to be honest with you, it's not for sheep, it's for pigs. It's an anti-scour, antibiotic. It does help. I guess it's not really, it says scours, but it's not really an anti-scour as much as it's an antibiotic, but it does help solid them up. My daughter said she read the thing, she was probably 3 days to do. We gave him 3, he was starting to solid up. At the same time, we started to shoot and give him a vitamin B shot every day. We did that for 5 days. Gave him some red cell. Again, that's not set up for sheep. And some people tell you can't give red cell to sheep. But we gave him that for 3 days, and we stopped on that. He was all right soliding up. Then he got a little loose again. Now here's one problem I have with doing this. He wouldn't eat. Well, he would. He won't eat the grain. He wouldn't eat grain. When you got them by themselves sometimes, there's no competition. And when there's no competition, they don't eat. And my daughter said, hey, she says, same thing with her goats. She can put 6 goats in a pen, put out the grain, and they're all fighting each other to get. Take one of those, put them inside, and give it grain by itself, and it won't even eat it. So that's part of the problem we can have where he won't eat grain. He wasn't really eating grass hay. But if I gave him alfalfa hay, and I started giving him a little of that, oh yeah, he'd eat that. He'd eat. What I was down to is he would eat alfalfa hay and animal crackers. I could get him to eat those 2 things. That was it. He wasn't going to eat any grass hay. He wasn't going to eat any grain. So we kept along. We kept going. But this time, now we get to the point, I went ahead. I want to make sure now he could be a little loose just from eating alfalfa. Just that alone cannot help it, but I can't help it. That's the only thing I can give him to eat, and he's losing weight. I need him to eat. So now we grabbed one day, and now I took a fecal sample and decided to take it up. And so I took that up and had them, they went through it, and she said on the 2 slides, she's found 5 worm eggs on one slide and 1 on the other. So she said, technically, no, that you're about done for worms. I have no idea what his fecal load, what his load was, his parasite load was before he was doctored. But she said, yeah, I would say he had worms. Now we're down to this after you doctored him up. As far as cocci was concerned, nothing. She couldn't find anything on the cocci. But we still got an upset stomach. And we still got him where I can't get him to eat much. So she gave me a probiotic to something I can put in the feed. But I said, well, yeah, but he won't eat. Well, I got good for a little bit here. I came home and I got an animal cracker and I got some honey and I mixed honey with the probiotic and I smeared it on the animal crackers, and that worked for 2 days. For 2 days, I got it into him that way, and then he finally goes, no, I know what you're doing here. This is not just straight animal crackers and honey. You're putting something else in there. So he quit. After 2 days, I can't get him to do that anymore. So what we're doing now, let's get the flies away. So basically what we've done is I'm coming back with the Spectre Guard. We started yesterday with the Spectre Guard again. Read another deal where instead of 3 days, you could go up to 5. And I thought, well, maybe we quit too soon the last time. We probably maybe should have went the full 5 days. The one deal said at least go, I think it was either 2 or 3 days after they get solid. We didn't. We quit about the time he got solid the first day, we quit. So that might have been our fault. We're going to come back with the Spectre Guard, put in some baking soda. I gave him some baking soda once, so we put it in water. I drenched him with it. Now I put some baking soda in his feeder. Whether he touched it or not, I don't know. It looks like he might have a little. I think last night he actually ate a little grain. Had some grain. It looks like he ate just a little bit of grain. He's not as solid as I like. He's better than it was 2 or 3 days ago. But we're still in the same boat. We're kind of in the same boat. I need him to eat more. And when he's all by himself, and you know, sheep don't like being by themselves. I mean, I hate to say it, sheep can get a little depressed being all by themselves, and basically he eats and he goes and lays down and he eats and he's not really doing much. So here's the next thing I'm going to do. I had him set for so many ewes. Well, because he's lost some weight, he's a little run down, I don't want to do that. But I do want to do something for him. So I'm taking some of those ewes and they're going off. They'll go to Taz or they might go to Stony. We'll see how I'm going to do that. But I'm going to give him 3. I'm going to let him have 3 ewes, and I'm probably going to do that in the next day or 2. Okay, I was going to be, from where I stand today, I'm still about 10 days away from when I was going to put the rams in. But I might go ahead in the next day or 2, and I want to see if I want to take another day or 2 at the Spectre Guard, see if that helps solid him up a little bit, because we got to catch him every day. But and if I put ewes in there, it's just going to make it a little tougher. But I want to put them in early, and the main reason is they're going to eat on the grain. And now if they're coming to eat on the grain, maybe I can get him to start eating grain just because they're eating grain. They're going to eat grass hay. I'll have to sprinkle a little alfalfa, and I'll be easy on that because ewes aren't used to it. I can't just, boom, you get alfalfa. So I'll have to put grass hay with some alfalfa. But I'm figuring now he's got competition at the feed trough. He's probably going to get in there and eat more. Just handling 3 ewes, and one of them is a ewe lamb from this year. So she might not even come in. If she does, I don't know, but she may not even come in. And if she does later, so he may not, he made up breeding too. They're going to stay in the catch pen. Where I talked to you about the fences and making all, you know, I was going to do all that in the fences. No, I'm not. I'm just going to leave them in the catch pen. They have the outside pen that goes with it. I'm going to leave them in the catch pen. He doesn't have to chase them very far or work too hard to breed the 1 or 2 he's probably going to breed. Or if he ends up breeding all 3, that's fine. So he shouldn't get run down. I'm thinking he'll gain so much more by having the ewes and having the competition at the grain and the hay that he'll end up eating more. He's still easy to grab and take care of that. So that's what I'm doing. That's everything I've done up to this point. Am I over the hill? I don't know. By any means, I don't think we're out of the woods. You know, he's got an upset gut. We're going to keep up with probiotics. Now, if I can get him eating grain, I can sprinkle the probiotics over the grain, and now he'll get some because I can do it that way. For the next few days, we're going to still give it to him in the mouth. I'll probably drench him with it now because he don't like animal crackers anymore. But I'm not saying he's out of the woods by any means. But that's part of what you get. I'm telling you what I did. I'm not saying this is what you do. I'm just kind of letting you know this is everything I've done to try to get him through all this. Maybe I'm going to get him through it. Maybe I'm not going to get him through it. It's part of having sheep. I'm sorry, sheep love to die. Sheep just love to get sick. They love to die. If you're going to get into sheep, just get used to it. It's something you're going to have to live with. That's sheep. There are no sick sheep. I've always said that. There's live sheep and there's this one and it's getting ready to die. And that's all there is. We're going to try not to do that. We're going to try to save him on this. And I've been working at it. We'll see. You know, if I can get him solid up. I know he has no parasites now. He had some. I know he doesn't. Now my thing is I just got to get him to solid up and get his strength back. And which is not going to help putting a couple of ewes. I understand that. But this is the way I'm going to do it to try to get him to eat. And he's not going to... If he had to breed 10 or 20 ewes, you couldn't do it. You'd kill him. Yeah, you can't put him in with that many, but I can put him in with a couple. I'd put him in with 2, but I got a mother-daughter. So I got to put both of them in with, and I got one other one I want to breed just in case something happens to him. This is my last shot for this ewe. So that's why I'm picking 3. Now, one thing is going to change. Everything comes out fine. As I said, about 10 days the rams go in. About this middle of December, the rams are going to come back out. But in his case, he won't. There's no way, I can't put him out. I don't see I can put him out in the middle of December. I don't think he'll have gained weight, be strong enough and everything good enough to get into a big fight with 2 other rams. So what I will do, as long as he makes it and everything's fine with the ewes, they'll stay there till December sometime. I'll take the rams and the ewes, the other ones apart, separate them, put the 2 rams together, bring them down here, put them together, let them fight it out and get it over with. Then, a few days after that, what I'll probably do is I will have to double up my fence here. As I said, put that 6-foot divider in the fence, and then I think I would probably take Lomax and the ewes he's with and bring them all the way down and put them in this pen down here. They will now spend the winter. He's with them all winter. He may stay, February or March. He may not get them back till February or March, something like that. That's probably the way we're going to do it. And that way, by that time, he should be good. If he's still with us, he should have his strength back. Everything should be good. And now in about February, I can put him in with the other 2 rams. So that's my game plan to do it that way. We'll see what happens. As far as the 3 ewes, and if he does breed all 3 of them, we're talking now I might have February babies. But the nice thing is I know those 3. I know which 3 of those are going to be. What I will do is in February, we'll bring them back up and I'll put those 3 in the barn. They can stay in the barn and the catch pen because they're probably going to be 10 days ahead of everybody else. So we get those 3 lambed out ahead of time and then they can be coming back out later. So that's my game plan. Take you off the deal. Sorry about that. That's what we're going to do. That's what we have to do. So unfortunately, we're hoping everything comes out good at Lomax, but when you got sheep, you just never know what's going to happen. And wasn't planning on this, but it's what we did. So, hey, one last thing. Thank you for everybody buying the t-shirts, man. I'll tell you what, there have been a ton of t-shirts going out. I appreciate all you people buying t-shirts from me. Thank you very much. I'll link in the description so you can find, if you want to order one yourself. I got a couple others. I might put links down there for those also. So that's all I got. Thank you much. I will keep you updated on Lomax. Maybe I can put in a short video or something, put in a short or something in between time, in between videos. There's a community tab. Maybe I can do something with that. We'll see. I'll see if I can do something so you don't have to wait 2 weeks to find out what's going on. Otherwise, we'll see you on the next video.